what's going on, everyone? Thanks for stopping in. If you're stopping in for the first time, my name is Everett. This is my endless wish list. This is my 6.0 swap Silverado, but this is not what the video is about today. Today the video is about adding an oil feed of some sort to your LS engine. So if you didn't watch the last video, I attempted to install an oil temp sensor on my truck and had a little bit of an issue because the sensor on this thing is so long that when it sticks out, it actually sticks out past the little plate and would hit the block and would not let me mount it flush all the way. So I ordered this extension. It's an adapter, but it's the same thread, male and female, so basically it's just going to sit out further, so this will sit flush against the block. So that is just one of two ways to do this. This is a sandwich adapter from Glow Shift. If you plan on using or needing more than one port, this is probably a good way to go. You got 4 ports you could use for oil temp, oil feed, oil pressure, all those cool things, whether it's an LS that came in the car or if it's an LS swap. You might need your oil pressure. If you're running a turbo, you're going to need a feed. All LS engines have this port on the oil pan, and I'll show you here in a minute, but this is probably the easiest and simplest way to go about getting an oil feed or putting in an oil temp sensor. So if you watch my last video, you'll see this is what I was attempting to do. This is the port on the oil pan I was talking about. Factory, these come with a block off plate. This is a aftermarket one, as you can see. I threw mine away when I bought this engine because this engine is out of a 3/4 ton. The 3/4 tons come with an oil cooler. On the half ton, it's just a block off plate, which you can modify that to use as well, but I didn't have it, so I bought this little adapter plate. I got this off of eBay for 15 bucks. I think they even had cheaper ones, like 10 bucks, but all I did was checked Glow Shift's website before I bought this and saw what the threads were, and they were 1/8 in PT. So I just got the one that had the same threads. Like I was saying, with this threaded all the way in, you can see it sticks out a good amount, and there's on the block, I'll show you. There's nowhere for it to go because the 2 holes on the block are, there's 2 of them, and they're on either side, so this hits, or not the block, the pan, I guess. So that is a clearance issue. However, if you're using this plate, because this is for an oil temp sensor, if you're using it for a turbo feed, it's just going to be a hose and nothing's going to stick through, so you're fine. Same with an oil pressure gauge, because oil pressure will not protrude like this. So really this only pertains to the oil temp sensor, for why you need a spacer. But for the other 2 applications, this plate will work beautifully. So the first thing we're going to do is put this adapter in. Now these are pipe threads, and the idea behind pipe threads is they're tapered, so the more you screw them in, they tighten themselves in because the threads aren't exactly straight, so they wedge themselves in there, creating a seal. However, I'm going to use some of this tape stuff just to make sure we don't have any leaks. You can see right here I don't have any of this when I do. This is purchased a long time ago and I don't really want to use that. So we're going with this. We're going to put this in. Just give me a second, I'm going to set you guys up so you can watch. And you don't need to go crazy when you're tightening this down. Because it is just brass and aluminum. Okay. Perfect. Now, we'll do the same thing with the sensor. And when you're putting this tape on, you want to act like you're threading it in your hand. That way the tape is going the same direction as you're, screwing the deal in. That way it doesn't undo itself further it goes in. Ah, damn it. I'll fix it later. Okay, I think we're good. So now you can see it's not sticking out past the plate, obviously. So clean up any of this tape that's sticking through. We don't want that going through the engine. Not that I think it really hurt anything. It's pretty soft, but it's not good practice to let foreign objects into your oiling system. Okay, now we're going to go take out the factory block-off plate, which we learned last time. Oil will come out, so get a catch pan. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. I can't really see where I set the camera. That's a lovely sound. So not a lot of oil is going to come out, but definitely enough to ruin your driveway, so just be careful. Now here's what I mean about the two holes. Obviously the sensor is right in the middle, so if it sticks out past the adapter plate at all, it's not going to go in, which is why we needed the spacer or extender. So we'll put it in and I'll show you what it looks like. See, nice and clean install. The sandwich adapter would have to go in between the oil filter. That's what I'm saying. I kind of, would set the oil filter down a little further and create kind of more things to go wrong. I don't think anything would, but I only need one sensor, so we're going this route. Now we'll hook them up and then see if it works. So now that we got everything put in, and like I said, some oil came out, it's a good idea to go and check your oil level. Not a lot came out, so you'll probably be okay, but I've done this twice now, so I don't want to start this thing up low at all, so I'm going to check it and then we'll see if it works. So I did learn in the last video, the reason why the gauge was flashing was because the sensor was not hooked up. Now that it's hooked up, it should not flash. Alright, look at that. Man, I'm such a ricer now. Oh, that's awkward. There we go. Alright, so we'll let it run for a little bit and then come back and check on it. Right now we're going to check for leaks. Looks like we're good. So I took the truck around the block, and you can probably see it's a little later in the day. We had to run to town and do some shopping and whatnot. But like I said, I just took it around the block. I don't think it got warm enough actually to heat up the oil. When I got back, the gauge hadn't moved, and I felt the pan, and it was barely warm. The gauge starts at like 120, so I don't think that it got hot enough. But next time we drive it, I'll be sure to film it and show you guys exactly how warm it gets. But as far as this video goes, that's it. That is probably the easiest way to set up an oil feed of some sort for your LS engine, whether it's turbo, oil pressure for a swap or anything, or just oil temperature gauge like I am. If you want to be super racer like me, you can do that. Thanks for stopping in. See you guys next time.